From Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, and Kahlo, their unique style of art was not accidental. Modern art liberated artists, allowing them to depict new ways of expressing the world, new ways of thinking of art, and new ways of expressing themselves.
As a revolt against conservative arts, the abandonment of academicism opened a new frontier for artists to express themselves, leading to the greatest and most recognizable works in history.
Though modern art did not begin on its own. Rather, it began with the refusal to comply with the rigid norms and requirements of conservative art.
The Industrial Revolution, with the age of machines replacing physical labor, and the application of science becoming an ambition of modern society, the image of humankind changed radically within a short period of time. Religion no longer held the dominant role.
Einstein's physics of relativity and space-time, and Darwin's theory of evolution altered traditional accounts of life. As science and technology rivals old views of the world, new ideologies replace the ancient dogmas of religion. Capitalism, socialism, and communism were all forces arguing to change or preserve culture. The ruckus of conflicting beliefs and push for economic, social, and political reform only naturally reflected in the creation of modern art.
As said by abstract expressionist Jackson Pollock, new needs, new techniques, and the modern artists have found new ways and new means of making their statements. The modern painter could not express this age, the airplane, the atomic bomb, the radio, in old forms of the Renaissance, or of any other past culture.
World War I. Art and war are old companions. Coordinated by the War Department, the U.S. commissioned 8 artists to go to France in hopes that artists could provide a historical record and galvanize support for the war. Wielding only sketchpads, charcoal, and little to no military training. Throughout 1918, the artists created around 700 different works, ranging from charcoal to completed watercolor compositions.
Bart Hacker, a curator of the National Museum of American History, says the artists depicted 3 types of scenes: combat, the aftermath of the war, and soldier life. Though not only war artists were experiencing the bloodshed firsthand, many artists were either soldiers or medics of World War I. In response to the turmoil or trauma of the war, many artists changed their mindsets dramatically.
Painting delicate religious figures morphed into hellish visions of fractured human bodies. Soft, sweeping brushstrokes died and became piercing edges. Mournful reflection, rage, and feelings of betrayal spilled onto canvases. Abstraction, realism, impressionism, romanticism, and cubism took form. Progressive versus conservative, the modern against the academic artist.
Beginning in 1562, set by the European Academies of Fine Arts, academicism had a very narrow and specific vision of art. To produce a suitable piece of academic art, one needs technique, craftsmanship, and a lot of training. Proportions must be immaculate, and brushstrokes must remain invisible, as the subject must be appropriate. Painting a nude woman of whom the viewer can see brushstrokes was not acceptable.
Though few artists remain loyal to the old arts, one such artist being William Adolphe Bouguereau. The neoclassical painter was one of the most reputable and successful artists in the Western world. His work is renowned for its religious and mythological scenes, classical nudes, and naturalist-influenced scenes. One has to seek beauty and truth. There's only one kind of painting. It's the painting that presents the eye with perfection, the kind of beautiful and impeccable enamel you find in Veronese and Titan.
French painter Alexandre Cabanel was another widely recognized painter in the academic arts. With his striking emotional works, accompanied by his academic styles, he quickly became one of the Paris Salon's favorite painters. Even the emperor himself declared Cabanel to be one of his favorite painters. In Cabanel's 1863, The Birth of Venus, it became the 1863's Paris Salon's main attraction. Napoleon III himself would even end up buying it. Cabanel was the prime example of an accomplished academic painter.
The 1863 Salon was an infamous one. Many paintings were refused, which warranted the introduction of the 1863 Salon des Refusés, dedicated to the refused paintings of the 1863 Salon. Impressionist Edouard Manet is often associated with the beginnings of modernism. to whom, beginning in the 1860s, not only depicted scenes of modern life, but also broke tradition when he made no attempt to mimic the real world with perspective and modeling. In Manet's Les Deux Genres Rêvés, the painting caused quite the shock after its display and was rejected by the 1863 Salon, and later landed in the Salon of the Rejected.
The harsh dismissal was provoked not so much by the female nudes, rather as their presence in a modern setting accompanied by clothed men. The harsh contrast and visible brushstrokes making up the subject of the painting spat in the face of the Paris Salon. Though sternly rejected, Monet and other artists began creating what is now known as avant-garde. Avant-garde being a French military term used to describe the front line of an army moving into battle. Artists were compared with this term as they were often a group force, while fighting an entrenched establishment.
The rise against the Academy became so compelling that even sternly academic artists such as Alexandre Cabanel and Alphonse Provoro aspired to combine the classical elements of the Academy with Romanticism's passion, emotion, and color. With artists yearning to express true emotion within art, it wasn't long before many artists were rejecting authority entirely. The shift was controversial, but was indeed an everlasting change that would last for decades to come.
As of today, the modern artist has become more recognizable than the conservative artist. The use of expression within art creates something that the average person can relate to. The unconventional, submersive, and simply bizarre is what the modern art is defined as today. Beauty and elegance is no longer what universally defines art, rather, its expression of human imagination and emotion. Artists widely recognized today are celebrated for their uniqueness, not their similarities.
With the commotion of a new age and of war, the avant-garde art emerged, a movement ahead of its time and a movement so powerful that it's ongoing even today. The human mind is constantly shifting, morphing, and adapting to new ideas. Art is just a view into the human intellect. Art is ever-changing. What makes Pablo Picasso's Guernica so memorable? His use of chaos and geometric shapes.
What about Kazimir Malevich's Black Square? Its mystery. Ranging from nothing to everything, both are equally as striking, and that truly proves the incredible impact the avant-garde movement had on art.
Without this liberation for artists, art would be bland, simply a copy of every other artist. No work is striking. No piece is truly art.